Another gorgeous day. And today we're going to be discussing about the path to freedom. And also what's been happening in terms of the craziest week, the craziest year, really, financially at least, of my life. And how we're going to get out of that. We kind of got a miracle, essentially. We got a little gift. It's like winning the lottery, except we can't mess it up this time. So what happened? That's the old Volvo store, by the way. Literally down the street, where even further is our big nice store. Just sold my 6th car, and we took a C70 trade-in in. I really like it. I'm not a big fan of convertibles, but this is one convertible I actually would take. It's pretty cool. All right, this is my baby behind me, and I'm very excited to be selling the brand that I drive. It's an amazing experience because it's something I'm actually really passionate about. Infiniti was a decent brand. I mean, there's plenty of worse brands out there to be selling, but it's certainly not my favorite. And with that, we've been given a miracle. It is a rather interesting moment in my life where I've never been in this position before, where we were facing eviction. We're probably going bankrupt. We were facing having our phones shut off today. It's the 17th. That I moved AT&T by about 2 weeks. It was late. Got a late fee, of course. Got hundreds of dollars in overdraft and non-sufficient funds fees and just late fees. All of this. Just boom, hundreds of dollars burned. Honestly, it would feel better if I burned that on interest than just overdraft fees, because overdraft fees go straight to the bank, and yes, interest also goes to the bank, but more so interest on like the personal loans that I took out to other people. At least, they'll do something probably with that. Either way, it's money lost, but it's so bad because I get nothing out of it. It's not like, I took out a loan. No, I get nothing. It's just, sorry, you don't have money? Let's punish you even further. So I hit this moment where I started making less money at the other dealership, and I started having more bills, and a couple piled up, and suddenly one small little emergency and the next small little emergency, and boom, you've got all this stuff. No emergency fund saved up. We weren't able to pay rent, and rent was the largest bill I had, and I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. I thought, well, let's do Uber, but Uber has turned to absolute garbage, and it would eventually end up being like $5-10 per hour earnings after you factor in all the costs, and before you even start looking at depreciation, but just gas and the maintenance, because at least like an oil change or the normal stuff, there's not a lot of money, especially if you do it on the wrong days. And I'm not doing it anymore. I will do it potentially on Sundays, maybe if there's good times, maybe if there's surges. But we hit this point where I was negative, not only, thousands of dollars, actually 5 figures, but the fact that I couldn't pay for the basic necessities. We've never been in that place before. Many times, actually, we couldn't pay for basic necessities, but not so many in a row. We didn't have money for groceries, didn't have money for gas. Every single day I was on E, and it was like, okay, let's do a little Uber. Maybe I can borrow like $20 here, maybe that. And it was constantly like, what do? I just filled up a full tank, and here's where we're leading to this solution. Wasn't able to pay rent, wasn't able to pay, the basic necessities. I was facing the fact that, I don't have money for the car payment, And it's not huge. Compared to what everyone's paying, $600, $700, we're closing people on $1,000 payments, 1,000 plus. Of course, they're also purchasing very expensive cars. Sold 2 Mercedes GLSs this week, and a new Volvo. Sold a new Volvo last week. We sold 4 cars this week, which is pretty good for someone who's just training. Almost had 5, but hopefully next week we will hit 5. I'm very, very excited with the way the new job's going, and it's giving me hope. Right now we're on this training program where we're going to make less money. So hopefully next month we're going to be able to make more money and make more and more until we're able to make more than the previous dealership. If I'm able to hit $7,000-8,000 per month, that'd be great. At minimum $6,000 this month. I think the goal is, over $5,000 at least. That's the minimum. I think we will be able to hit $5,000 on this training program. So it's $2,500 salary plus commissions and paint protection and whatnot, and it's not the best once you start going into more volume, but that's why we want to get on for next month. So I ran out of money. I got served with a 5-day notice, and essentially I had no idea what to do. I wasn't even paid by this new job yet up until the day after the 5-day notice was going to stop, because we went into 2 bi-weekly payments, and I didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to do, because even that paycheck wasn't going to be enough to pay for rent itself, let alone the fact that I couldn't pay for health insurance, couldn't pay for car insurance. The fact that I couldn't pay for car insurance was huge, because suddenly you risk the fact that your vehicles could get repoed, and I have a claim. I have an insurance claim on this where that's like, I don't know if you can see it there. There we go. It's at least a couple $100 worth of damage. Really, it's probably like $1,000. You'd be surprised, honestly. 2 small little panels like that, boom, $1,000 easily. But either way, I mean, in this case, I'm probably just going to leave it and take the insurance money, and there we go, because it's kind of a tough situation. But yeah, they'd cancel my insurance. They'd cancel my insurance claim, and I'd be out the money that someone just randomly crashed into me. So couldn't pay for a lot of things, and I reached out to everybody I could. I mean, I already took out the loans. My credit score has dropped, and my aunt saved the day. She loaned me $6,000, and it did take a little bit of persuasion. I had to sign a contract and whatnot, and it did take a couple days before the money arrived, and it was troublesome, getting a wire from Poland or whatnot. But that $6,000 has greatly helped. It doesn't solve everything. You'd be surprised. It's like, oh, $6,000, don't blow it. Well, what am I to blow it on if that's honestly just going for the fact that I had to pay rent, and I got hit with a late fee for the fact that it was late, and I was super, super close to, started the eviction process. I literally paid for rent the day before and kind of put my account into like an overdraft situation the next day, because I knew that paycheck was coming. That's when I got the $6,000 as well. And, boom, almost $1,500, boom, right then and there. So next month we need another $1,500. We're almost there. It's almost the 5th again. We're already counted down, because we got to pay rent. We got to pay for the cards. We got to pay for the basic necessities. Not loans, not credit cards, whatever. All our credit cards are maxed out. Next step is I took the only loan that bankruptcy would not help me with. I mean, it would. Is a credit rebuilder. I have 2, but one, it's only $300 in there, and it's actually, I owe more than what it has. The other one, I owed less than what they had. So I owed like $2,100 after the most recent payment, $100. It's $200 every month, right? Coming out. And I already paid a fair amount. So I had to pay $2,100, and I'm going to be, they're going to close my account, and I'm going to get $2,503 and like 40 cents back. So obviously, an extra couple $100 for my situation. It's going to take 4 weeks, but that $2,500 is going to come back. Honestly, without the help of my aunt, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And that loan would have had to go into bankruptcy. And the fact that bankruptcy also costs money, at least a couple $100 in fees and the lawyers. I'm going to look for a cheap lawyer. I mean, it's come to that point. I've got to go bankrupt. There's 5 figures of debt. We got to get out of this situation. I did the math. As long as I extended a bunch of my loans, like I reached out, personal loans, I extended, paid a little bit of interest, $15, $100, $200, whatever, gave myself some more time. We're still going to have to work ways around, because the $6,000 isn't going to cover everything. I need 5 figures. I need $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. But obviously that didn't happen. So, and since we were so behind on everything else, it's not even funny. Like, boom, $2,000 evaporated just like that. Well, $1,500 for the rent, and $500 because we were owed money for AT&T, internet. I have to check my utilities. I hope I paid that. Yeah, I mean, I lost track. There was so many, like literally 50 to 100 different bills and debts and small little payments here and there. And now I'm canceling what I can, the little payday apps, because that was killing me as well. And that's probably going to go into bankruptcy. So next step is we have to go bankrupt, and we have to work hard. And if I'm going to be low on cash, we're going to go 6 days a week into the dealership. Right now, I'm not working as many hours as I can, That's also because I'm literally all these little fires in my life. You know, the meme, oh, everything's just fine, and you know, there's fire everywhere, infernos. That's essentially me. So it's kind of like, oh, I got to pick up money here, then I got to send it here, then this to avoid that, and you know, it's like we got to do everything we can because bankruptcy is not going to take away the necessities. You know, I'd rather still have a place to stay instead of sleeping in my car and going bankrupt. But over the next month, we've got to take what we can, pay down what we can, which is a necessity, and go to bankruptcy lawyer, remove the bad debt, and start over. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I was rebuilding my credit. I'm very sad about this because had I made more money, like an extra $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 last year and the beginning part of this year, we wouldn't be in this situation. We'd be better off. But at the end of it, yeah, my credit's going to be destroyed for probably 2, 3, 4 years after bankruptcy. But then I'll be able to start again. And honestly, it's going to take a while because I'm back in the 519s. Credit cards are maxed out. Even if I started making $10,000 a month, which is, you know, it's doable, but it's going to be crazy. Even then, it's going to be like all that money's going to go to debt. I mean, at this point, it's better off bankruptcy. And this time around, for anybody who's wondering, well, why didn't you do it before? Before, we needed to have that opportunity. Even if it's bad credit cards, at least we had situations where it wasn't an emergency fund, obviously, because you owe this money, but you could use it. Like, oh, I need a root canal. Okay, well, at least we could use part of this and then that. And my wife wasn't able to work. She wasn't able to build credit. She wasn't able to have a bank account. Now she's building her credit. Now she's going to have good credit. Now it doesn't matter if I go bankrupt because finally, just recently, you know, she's able to do so many things, and now her income's getting better, and it's going to greatly help us, and we're going to work together. So I know bankruptcy is going to be, number one thing is, will I qualify? Because we have to do it ASAP while I'm still in this situation. Because if I suddenly start making a bunch of money, because even though I'm working hard, the judge won't care. All right, well, you know, you're making 7, 8, 9, 10,000. Well, you got to pay off your debt, sonny. No, I mean, right now, they don't understand the full situation. There's just so much debt, so much stress, and I feel already better. That $6,000 definitely helped me. I have a year to pay it back. So it's not like, you know, this money's free. There's going to probably be a little bit of interest and whatnot, but I feel good. Some of my loans are 35% interest, so there's a lot to pay off. One loan, that's a $69.58 payment, is like $3,500 left. Another, that's $169.58, is like, I don't know, $7,000 left. Like, these are huge amounts. Credit cards, we're approaching. Some of them are over the limits, actually. So limits is altogether $3,800 across 7 credit cards, I believe, of which there's probably $3,900 due. And there's old debts, old payment plan that I was sued for that I owe $120 every month. Hopefully that can get discharged for bankruptcy because I owe probably an extra $3,000, maybe even $4,000 on that. Plus, I have a debt from American Express from so many years back, like 4 or 5 years back. $6,500. If they sued me for fees, it would be closer to $7,000. Also, collections that are close to $2,000. Also, there's like an extra, $6,000-$7,000 in personal loans where obviously those won't get discharged in bankruptcy. I mean, we got to pay those down. Those are the most important because those are actual people and friends, and that will get paid. It's just, we'll be able to focus on those instead of I'm sure there's other stuff, these payday apps. There's probably like $800. There's the cash advance apps. There's probably a bunch of other stuff. So altogether, definitely over $10,000, closing at 15, 20. I don't know. I mean, I lost track. I stopped tracking it over the past month because I didn't even have money to pay for it. But now we sold 6 cars so far this month, and it's the 17th. Part of that, like, I don't know, probably the first week I was trading. So out of 6 sales, maybe I've had 8 days that I was selling, like actually selling, maybe 9, 8. And I feel good. And we've got like 1 or 2 sales potentially in the works. So I feel good. It's going to be great. It was a very tough year. It still is going to be tough, but I feel it's getting better. And it was tough for everybody. The economy's bad and whatnot. I mean, one of my best buddies, he's a college graduate. He's super smart. One of the smartest people I know. He's super motivated. He's insane. Insanely good at whatever he does. And he wasn't able to find a programming job for a little bit. It was very brutal. Had to go through a bunch of job interviews. I finally got one. And you know, it's just tough for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you have a college degree or not. And that's the other thing. I have more time now to work on college. We just finished another course. We're 22% done with my bachelor's degree. My hope is we can accelerate and finish it by next year, in 1 year. So we've got a lot happening. Let's get to it. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great rest of your day, and wish me the best of luck. See ya. I'm ever grateful to my previous sales manager who gifted this to me. There's an additional piece. I loved it. There was only a scratch that came to me like that, but other than that, it was a very good watch, very nice and heavy. However, unfortunately, recently, obviously facing eviction and a bunch of other stuff, bankruptcy, and just a bunch of not so great, bills not being paid, late payments. I ended up listing it online, and I got less than I wanted for it, but oh well, $76 in my case will always help. Honestly, I think the watch is probably worth like $120. Brand new, it was like $300 or $400 or something like that, but obviously it's pretty used up. But still, someone's getting a great value. Ever still, the fact that I was able to get something like this for free and get money from it, especially now in a time when I need it, super, super grateful to that manager. Big shout out to Jason. Check that out. That's gorgeous. We had a good day today. Got a sale. See ya.